Namaste Yogi Mamas! Today we're going to practice a yin class based around tapas. So it's not tapas that many of you may be thinking like, ooh, I'm going to get some chorizo in that pot. It's not that. Tapas in yoga and Sanskrit means heat. So we're going to build a little bit of heat through the body, but only so much that it's just going to allow us to have a little bit more change and move forward. If you think when you're running, if you're running or walking, if you're on a really slippery surface, it's really difficult to go anywhere. So by adding a little bit of heat to our bodies, we can add a little bit more friction so that we can keep moving forward and evolving and growing and learning about ourselves, learning about our bodies, especially for you ladies in this amazing journey that you're moving through at the moment. Just a little bit of chance for self-reflection. So there is a little disclaimer for this one. If you have any pelvic girdle pain, pubic symphysis, I'm going to ask you to leave this one out, just because we're doing a few hip openers and we don't really want to do that if you've already got pelvic pain. So use a different video. And also, if you're quite later on through your pregnancy, just be mindful if you get tired and the heat starts to build, and if you've got quite a lot of downward force already, that might not be too comfortable for you today. So it's just a few things to be mindful of and look out for, and stop where you need to, and just be really kind to yourself. So prop wise, have a couple of blocks. If you don't have blocks, use books. You guys know this anyway, but it's just in case you're new. Bolsters, if you don't have bolsters, roll up some blankets, use pillows, possibly a strap if we use one. We probably won't, but just, I sometimes go off on a tangent like I'm doing now, but have one there just in case. And we're going to start easy seated with the legs crossed. So have the hands, let's have the hands just facing down, and I'd like you just to run the hands up and down the thighs, create a little bit of heat, close the eyes, and feel all of the fingers, the palms of the hands, the outer edges of the hands, right in the center of the palm. And then when you feel the hands are getting a little bit tingly, you're just going to place the hands over your baby. And feel that energy, that tingling, that life force energy just radiating from your hands to your baby and from your baby back to your hands. Keeping the shoulders nice and soft. And you can either close the eyes or you can have a soft gaze. And our theme, as well as practicing yin through tapas, through heat, our theme today is also to let your body lead you. Our bodies can help provide us with direction. Many of us have heard the expression, I'm leaning toward that, or I'm leaning away from that. When we're centered and balanced, our body will help show us what we really want to do. We will literally lean toward or away from what we like and what we don't like. We've spent much of our lives forcing our body into situations, into energy fields and circumstances that it leaned away from, resisted, moved back from. And then we wonder why we felt hurt, why we were feeling uncomfortable. The more we honor our body, the more it will help lead us. And the more it will become a natural guide, helping us on our path, reflecting the desires of our heart and our soul. The more we learn to trust our body, the more we'll come into harmony with our natural rhythms, with the cycles and the movements of our lives. Learn to open the subtle guidance and messages that your body sends to you about what it likes and what it dislikes, what it leans towards and what it leans away from. Learn to see where it's leading you. Talk to your body. Ask it what it wants, and then let it show you. Respect it enough to listen. And the more we connect to our bodies, the more we will live a connected life to our heart, to our soul, and be guided by the divine. The more we practice listening to our bodies, the more naturally and easily this guidance and connection will flow. So trust the wisdom of your body, for it often reflects the wisdom of your soul. And let's bring the left hand to our hearts and the right hand to baby. And take an inquiry now just to see how centered you're feeling. Where's your mind at? Where's your body at? Are you able to just lift up a little bit more through the back of the neck? Have a little hug of your baby, and then maybe lift the pelvic floor ever so slightly. And let's begin some heart womb breath. So you're going to breathe into your left hand, and you're going to breathe the energy from your heart down to your baby beneath your right hand. Breathing into the heart and down to your baby. And as you breathe, linking the heart with your baby, on your out breath, send down affirmations. You can say them out loud, you can say them silently. I love you so much already. You are a miracle. You are the miracle I have been waiting for. And although I can't wait to meet you, I have trust in you and my body that when the time is right and when both of us are ready, we will meet. Two more breaths like this. And then release the hands down to the thighs. Find grounding and feel the warmth of your hands against your legs. And give the shoulders a roll. Okay, let's take Baddha Konasana. So having your blocks, we're going to bring the soles of the feet together, give the legs a shake out if you need to, but have your blocks to support your knees here. If you don't have blocks, or if you prefer to actually use a strap, you can link the strap around the legs like this instead. So if you can reach your feet at the moment, hold on to your feet. If you can't quite reach your feet at the moment, you can just rest the hands on the knees, or maybe rest the hands on top of baby instead. But as long as you've got your knees open and you've got that support of a strap or the blocks. So we're going to take a deep breath in, lift and grow through the heart space. And as you breathe out, you're just going to fold forward and just allow the body to round. Only as far as feels good. So you might just want to drop the neck, especially if baby's quite big and you've got quite a lot of space taken up already. Maybe just drop the neck. And you may want to rock the head from side to side here as well. And try your best not to rush any of this. As you're rocking your head, if you are rocking the head, if you get to a point where it just feels really, really yummy and you're like, oh, that's hitting a really good spot there, Then maybe just hold it there and take a breath and just explore your body now. What feedback is your body giving you as you move? Trusting the wisdom of your body. And let's take one more breath where we are. And then when you finish that last breath, we're going to make our way onto our hands and our knees. So use the hands to support the knees as you bring them together, or as close as they will get together if you're quite far along, of course. And we're going to come onto hands and knees, nice and gently, trying to keep the knees as close together as possible. Now, if you've got any wrist niggles, feel free to come onto the fists or reach the hands a little bit further away, or you can come onto forearms instead. Let's first of all just take some rolls of the hips. And hugging baby in here. And just working with what feels good for your body right now. Awesome. Let's go the other way. And let's give a go at some figure 8 movements. So let's do this together. We're going to start at the top. We're going to do a circle with the shoulders, so the top of the 8 all the way forward, going clockwise, and then take yourself all the way back as the hips do the lower part of the 8. So you're wrapping all the way up to the top, figure of 8, and then all the way behind. Great one to visualize through labor when you're moving through your surges. To release back pain as well, doesn't have to be all about labor. You just do this whenever you need to just get a little bit more space through the body. Let's reverse back the other way. It might feel a bit weird if you've just got used to going one way. Awesome. Okay, and let's sit back into a child's pose or come into puppy dog pose here if child's pose isn't available for you today. And give those wrists a wiggle, or the wrists a roll and the fingers a wiggle. Okay, from here, make your way back up onto your hands and your knees. Just pop this out the way. And we're going to take 3 mini press-ups, and then we're going to hold the last press-up for 3 breaths. Now, if this doesn't feel too good, or it should feel good, but if you feel like it's too much work, just take some cat-cow instead. So we're going to reach the hands forward and bring the body, so the body's in a nice long line. And be mindful that we're not bringing the hips down here, so we're not getting a back bend at all. If anything, your hips want to be higher, so they don't drop below, okay? So fingertips, fingers are spread, elbows are soft. We're going to inhale, bend down just halfway, or halfway is the maximum amount that you want to bend, and then breathe out as you push up. Awesome. 2 more, breathe in. Breathe out, feel a little bit of fire starting to build. And this last one, we're going to hold down for 3 breaths. So breathe in, hug your baby in, breathe out. Breathe in, and out. Last one, and out. Push yourself up and sit back on your heels using support of a bolster, cushion or block underneath the bottom, and give those wrists a roll. So you should feel a little bit warmer already. That's that tapas getting into the body. So just open up through the sides of the waist. So take a breath in, reach the arms up, and as you breathe out, bring the right hand down to the floor and just find length down that left side of the waist. And then let's head over to the left. So breathe in, reach both arms up, and breathe out over to the left. Okay, and back to center. Back onto hands and knees. And just pop your support out the way. And we're going to come on to forearms. So we want the forearms to be about a forearm width away from each other. So maybe just bring the hands in line with both elbows. And that's kind of a guide of where we want to be. And we want to bring the shoulders and the wrists to stack. So the shoulders are above, sorry, not the shoulders and the wrists. What's this called? The elbow. The shoulder and the elbow to be stacked. Take some cat-cow here. So hug your baby in. And you're going to breathe in, reaching the heart forward, lifting up. And as you breathe out, round through the back, hug everything in, gaze back towards your toes. Or baby. If baby's in the way, definitely look at baby. Take a breath in and breathe out. 2 more of these. We're feeling a little bit of fire through the shoulders, but we're also getting some strengthening work for the thoracic spine. Last one. And then come up onto your hands. And we're going to take just normal cat-cow, but we're going to reverse the breath. So we're going to breathe in, round through the back, hug baby in, maybe lift up onto the tips of the fingers. And then as you breathe out, release the pelvic floor, lift the tail ever so slightly, and the heart reaches forward, gaze is coming up. Shoulder blades are drawing down the back. Breathe in, round, hug baby, gaze towards them. Breathe out, release the pelvic floor. Keep the elbows soft as well, so we're not locking. 3 more rounds. Awesome. All right, from here, we're going to take the right foot back. You guys have done this before. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, guide the right foot forward towards the outside of your right hand. Use your blocks on whatever level feels good for you here. So we're going to have the front, well, both legs on a 90-degree angle to start. And just see how that feels with tucking the tail and lifting the heart up. You can, if it feels okay, lift up and have the hands on the hips. So if anyone is doing this and you've got pelvic girdle pain, I would just recommend you keeping the hands down so that you're not finding any instability through the pelvis. But you are tucking the tail, so we're getting length down the front of this left thigh and the left hip flexor. So we're going to stay here for 5 breaths. Shoulders are soft. Hands on hips, maybe hands on baby. Here's 4. And 5. And then from here, just bring the hands down. And we're going to just shuffle this right foot forward. And then lift the toes of the right foot. Active through the top of the back foot as well. You're hugging your baby in and you're reaching the heart forward. Actively pull your right hip backwards and you're almost squeezing your right heel towards your left knee. So you're feeling that support through the pelvis. What we're not doing is just kind of collapsing here. We're holding it in. 5 breaths. Last breath. And then slowly walk that right foot down. And we're going to bring the hands onto the floor. And we're going to take the right knee back to meet the left. Now you've got the option to take puppy dog, child's pose or downward facing dog. So puppy dog is here or here. Child's pose, knees apart, toes together is here. Or down dog before 22 weeks or as long as baby's not turned and your midwife has said that it's okay for you to do it. Down dog is here. But not worrying too much about really lifting and opening the heart here. We're just working through the backs of the legs and finding length through the body. One more breath where you are. And then let's all meet in tabletop. We're going to extend the left leg behind this time. Deep breath in. And as you breathe out, bring the left foot to the outside of the left hand. Use your blocks. Options stay here. Top of the back foot is active. Or lift up here. So 90 degrees of the legs, tucking the tail but not over tucking, lifting through the crown of the head, 5 breaths. Last breath here. And then release the hands down. We're going to shimmy that left foot forward, keeping a 90-degree angle of the back leg. Lift the toes off the floor. Actively pull your left hip back and your right hip forward, reaching the crown of the head. So grow through the body. 5 breaths. One more breath. And then placing the left foot onto the floor. Pop your blocks out the way. And then take the left leg back to meet the right. And we're going to either do that puppy dog pose, child's pose, or downward facing dog. And take 5 breaths where you are. You might want to take 2 breaths in down dog and then come back down. You don't have to stay in one place for the breath. Savor these moments of stillness and quiet. And then let's meet back onto hands and knees once again. Okay, so the next one, really good if you have sciatica. A good one to relieve is pigeon pose. So blocks, have them handy either side of you, and have a pillow, a cushion or a bolster. So what we're going to do is, let's just pop the bolster out of the way for the moment. We're going to firstly bring the right knee forward in between the hands, or maybe on a slight diagonal just to make room for baby. You're going to grab your bolster and slide the bolster all the way underneath so it's running along your right thigh. You're then going to use your blocks underneath your hands and stay lifted here. You can also prop up your back leg with some cushions. If it feels comfortable, you can come onto forearms here as long as there's space for baby and you're not adding compression. Stay here. We're going to stay here for 10 breaths on this side. Last 2 breaths here. And then make your way back onto the hands, lifting up. Pop the support of your bolster just out to the side, and then you're going to lift up, slide this left knee back to where it started, and then slide your right knee back. Option, take child's pose, down dog or puppy dog pose. 5 breaths. Now, one of the elements of tapas, if you ever find yourself getting frustrated in any postures that we're holding, to make sure you come out of them. We don't want to ignite a fire that is hard to control, hard to tame. One more breath where we are, and then meet on your hands and knees in tabletop once again. Sliding the left knee forward, maybe opening it out a little bit underneath the body, and then slide your right leg back. Use the support underneath that left thigh, and use blocks underneath the hands. I know for me that feels really just too much. I'm not comfortable up there, so I'm going to come onto my forearms. But you just see what feels best for 10 breaths. And explore this as well. If you want to take a rock from side to side, maybe you want to take some head rolls. Two more breaths. And then slowly, just keeping the hands where they are, the arms, slowly slide the right knee back. And then the left. And we're going to come onto our forearms if we're not already there. Come onto your forearms, either on blocks or on the floor. And just take a puppy dog pose and rock the hips from side to side. Lovely. Alright, from here let's make our way onto our bottoms. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to just keep the knees together. We're going to walk the hands over, let's do it all the same way, over to the left. The feet swing out to the other way. I've got my bowls in the way, but feet swing out to the other side. And then just come onto your bottom and then swing the legs around. And now a bolster might be a little bit too high for you to use underneath your hips, so maybe just use a cushion and have your blocks either side of you. Feet are going to be about mat's width apart, but just not together. Lift the flesh from underneath the sit bones. So a lot of lower back pain can be caused from obviously the hips. As I mentioned, we've worked through opening there, but also the hamstrings as well. When the hamstrings are tight, that can cause us to kind of round and this pressure into the lower back builds. So we're just going to work on lengthening the hamstrings. To start, you can have the knees bent if you're particularly tight through the hammies. Maybe pop a bolster underneath the knees or a cushion here to support you. This feels really good, even if you don't have tight hamstrings anyway. So blocks either side, maybe just in front of the knees, or you can have them in between the legs. It's your preference, whatever feels best. So take a deep breath in, lift and grow. And as you breathe out, fold forward as far as feels comfortable. So you've got those blocks to rest your arms on, give you that extra support. And let your head bow down and take a rock from side to side. We're going to stay here for 10 breaths. We've got 10 breaths to get to where we want to reach. So the tendency is to be like, yeah, I'm going to go right down now. But you've got so much time to get there, and don't rush the process. Three more breaths. And then slowly roll yourself up, vertebra by vertebra. Lift nice and tall. And then you're going to roll back onto your forearms. Option, blocks or books can come underneath the forearms as well. And take the feet about mat's width apart. And just rock the knees from side to side. A real opener for the sacrum here. I know I often get a nice little juicy click and it feels really, really, really good. Okay. From here, we're just going to lift up back onto our hands. have kind of a tilt backwards and have the palms on the floor and the fingers facing outwards. So we're going to bring our left ankle to the top of the right thigh. Just take your time getting it there. You can always just do this posture with the right leg straight and then bend the right knee. Okay. But we're going to actively just lift up through the heart so that we're not slouching into the shoulders. Maybe bring the hands a little bit closer to the body. And if you feel up to it, you can start sliding the bottom towards your right heel. And depending on how much space you've got available with baby, if you're earlier in your pregnancy, you may be able to kind of lift up if baby's not showing yet. But main thing is that you're doing this so it feels good. You're not doing it because you're trying to get to an aesthetically a place which looks like it should be. You're working with the feeling. So feeling wise, feel out for it in the back of the left hips, the left glute. Keep the shoulders soft. We've got 2 more breaths. Last breath. And then slowly start sliding the bottom back or the right leg forward. Release the legs. Take that rock to side with the knees. And then we're going to swap over. So we're going to bring that right ankle above the left knee. Bend into the left leg. You can keep it here or start sliding. And if anyone's wrists start to get a little bit sore, you can come onto your forearms and give the wrists a roll. I've done lots of work on my wrists past few days, so I'm feeling a bit fatigued in them. 5 breaths. Awesome, and let's release the legs and just give the knees a little rock from side to side again. So from here you're going to come straight onto your left hand side. So roll onto your left. Grab yourself, let me face you. No, swing around. Grab yourself bolsters, cushions, anything that you want to use to support you to release. Maybe have a cushion or block or something between the knees, especially if baby's quite big now and the hips have opened even more. Just something to support the growing of the hips. And have a little wiggle around just to get comfy. And if for anyone, if lying on your left isn't feeling good, you can maybe grab your cushions, your bolsters, and you can rest on your back, but have some support underneath the top of your back just to keep you lifted here so you're not all the way flat down. You can also have the soles of the feet together, knees out wide, using support if you, I would use support here anyway because we're fully relaxing, so we're not holding on to anything. And then bring one or both hands to baby, wherever you are, if you can be comfortable to rest the hand. And start coming back into your breath, realigning yourself with your intention, with your body, and the connection that you have with your baby. Knowing that each breath you take is nurturing your baby, helping your baby to grow, to thrive in the nurturing, loving space of your womb. Each breath binds you closer and closer together with that bond, that unique connection that you will have with no one else but them. They will have with no one else but you. This miracle of life that started to pulse within you, growing for 9 months under the space of your heart. Trusting the wisdom of your body, trusting that your body has been designed to grow a baby and give birth. It's the most natural thing for your body to do. Trust the process. Trust all of your intuition, all of your instincts. And know that you are perfect where you are. You and your growing baby are perfect. You and your growing family, all of you, are perfect. No need to change anything. And just be. I'd like to thank you once again for joining me on your mat. And take this time just to offer yourself and your baby some gratitude, offer this moment, gratitude. Savor this moment of stillness, of peace, of calm and clarity. I'm going to leave us all here to rest and relax. But if anyone is feeling ready to leave their practice now and start closing it up, bring yourself to a seated position, taking your time. Reaching the arms up, taking a breath in, kissing the hands to prayer, and gazing down at your prayer. From my heart to all of your hearts, Namaste.